Okay, so I posted the reflection topic, Grand Risings and Peaceful Faces. I posted the reflection topic on my story. Today, what I wanted us to consider and reflect upon are these dual themes of light and dark, or shadow and light. I'm aware for myself that I don't even want to say the times that we're in, just life in general, as we start to dive deeper into, certainly in this case, our solidarity or our intimacy with those that are around us, or our experience of things being taken away from us and other things being given to us. We can be confronted in these ways with the dual aspects of ourself, our light and with our dark. I've tried to keep most of these reflection topics somewhat full spectrum, in the sense that, while it can be nice to write down all the things we're grateful for and how beautiful life is, and I'm sure we'll do that from time to time, I think it's also important for us to feel our feelings, and for us to acknowledge and examine and take a look at some of the, what we might call the uglier aspects of ourselves, or some of the more painful or hard to look at aspects of who we are. I do believe that the light of our awareness is capable of transmuting those elements once we are willing to shine it. So in the nature of sort of alchemy and transmutation, I'd like to invite you to consider the ways in which you've been confronted with your shadow in these last several weeks, or the last interval of time here. And also consider the ways that you're being shown your light. I'll leave it at that. Take about 5 minutes or so, and you can write down your thoughts. I have a journal here. We do this every morning for about 5-10 minutes. Speaking of alchemy, welcome. Alchemy of Self. Hey, Michelle. If you prefer to dictate into a phone, or just kind of close your eyes and reflect, whatever is the most appropriate way for you is welcome. Okay, so spend a few minutes and reflect upon shadow and light. If you're just joining the Instagram story, my Instagram story has the theme for the day I'm on. The theme is shadow and light. The question is, in what ways are you being confronted by your shadow? And in what ways are you being shown your light? spend a few more minutes. If you're just joining, the topic of reflection today is shadow and light. I'm just spending a few moments articulating and reflecting on the ways in which we're being confronted by our shadow self and the ways in which we're being shown our light. Okay, so you can kind of start to wrap up the thought that you're on. We'll come back to this a little bit later. If you're just joining, we spend the first few minutes of each session with a journal prompt. Today we're exploring shadow and light. And then we're going to transition into our familiar sequence for the morning. So we'll do some seated breath exercises, pranayama. We'll do a seated meditation, and then we'll stand up and do some full body joint articulations, and then we'll see what we have time for after that. We'll, as per usual, spend some time debriefing and discussing. I have one of my very best friends, Sean Massich, on the call later today, or later in the session to chat with me. Okay, so bring yourself into a comfortable seated position, please. And position yourself so that the weight of your pelvis is being distributed evenly right and left. And sometimes it takes sort of shifting right and left to discern how your weight is being organized. And then you can shift your pelvis forward and back, and likewise see if you can balance kind of on the center points of your sitting bones. And then have the sense that you could push your sitting bones down into the floor or into whatever you're sitting upon. And as you push down, leverage that, it's called ground reaction force. As you push down, leverage that reaction force that rebounds up your spine and up through the crown of your head. Okay. And as you organize through your core in that way, you can allow the sort of peripheral parts of your body, shoulders, arms, even the skin, the muscles around your face to relax. And close your eyes. And together, let's take a deep breath in through our nose. And open your mouth and just sigh it out. It doesn't have to be the kind of breath where you slowly release, just have the relief of letting go. So deep breath in through your nose. And then just let it go. Do that a few more times. last time. Full breath in. This time hold your breath at the top. You can sip a little more breath in through your mouth. And then open your mouth and just let go. And now with your mouth closed, shift your breath in and out through your nose. And place one of your hands on your belly, on your abdomen. And see if as you breathe, you can feel the expansion of your breath sort of press down into your abdomen and create a bulge behind your right hand. So it's not that we actually pull air into our belly, but we can breathe in such a way that our belly does sort of expand and move. Take a few slow belly breaths in and out through your nose. You might even take your second hand and place it on your lower back. And even as your belly bulges forward on the inhale, can you have a sense that there's likewise a small expansion on the back of your abdomen as well, the lumbar region of your spine. And then we'll slide our hands up to our lower ribs. We did this yesterday with Trina. You can place your hands on the sides of your ribs with your thumbs wrapping behind and fingertips in front. And if you lack the range of motion in your shoulders to do this, you can also do this by sort of hugging yourself and bringing your hands to opposite ribs. Trina showed us this yesterday with a scarf or a strap. You can use that too. Just some tactile feedback on the lower ribs. And as you breathe, now instead of feeling that bulge moving forward and back, can you sort of encourage a sideways or lateral expansion of your breath into your hands? And you might notice that in an attempt to slow down your breath, you naturally shift into a little bit of ujjayi. Ujjayi means confident or victorious sort of expansion. And it's created by just narrowing your vocal cords a little bit. So you create a little back pressure for your breath in a narrowed passageway, which can, in effect, slow it down and also create some of that inner heat and sense of confidence, right? When we are pressed against some resistance, that might be where we encounter our shadowy aspects of self, but also where we can cultivate some strength. So here the resistance is in your vocal cords and possibly a bit in your hands. So victoriously press your breath into your hands as you breathe in, and then recoil and soften as you breathe out. And finally, place one of your hands at the top of your chest, sort of the top of your sternum. And this time as you breathe, have the sense that your breath could move into your hand and sort of lift your chest. especially as you breathe out, see if you can do so in a way that doesn't collapse your chest and your spine, that you sort of stay tall, you stay lifted. There's just a softening behind your thorax. Release your hands. You can rest both of your hands on your thighs. Close your eyes or keep them closed if they are. And now, as you breathe, see if we can move our breath into all of those regions of your trunk. So exhale completely. And as you inhale, send your breath into your abdomen, and then your side ribs, and then your upper sternum, collarbones, and paws. And as you breathe out, empty from collarbones to ribs to abdomen. Pause on empty, press your sitting bones down and sit taller. Inhale, belly, ribs, sternum, pause. Exhale, sternum, ribs, belly, pause. Again, inhale, belly, ribs, sternum, pause, expand your chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly, pause on empty, lift your spine. Do a few more on your own like this. Do one more cycle. And then let's release Ujjayi. Let your breath sort of rebound back to a place of spontaneity, relative effortlessness. And notice how your breath manages itself and dances throughout your body when you relinquish that conscious control. We call this form of pranayama sahaja. Saha means together, and ja means born. So it's the breath that literally starts your life, the breath that you're born with, your natural breath. Say our life begins with an inhale, it ends with an exhale. So how we manage that flow of energy throughout the course of our life can very much dictate the quality of our life. Pranayama practices, pranayama meaning to extend or to liberate our life force, does so by affecting and observing and managing this flow of life in the form of breath. Spend a few more minutes seated in meditation. If you wish to cross your legs or take a different seated position so that you can be more comfortable, you're more than welcome to. You can also sit up against something, a wall or a chair. So with your eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine a ball of light above your crown. Maybe you see that as being quite large, like the size of a beach ball, like a physio ball. Maybe it's small, like a little pebble. Doesn't really matter the size of the light, but rather the quality of the light, a pure white light that is absent of darkness. Just floating above the crown of your head. And it's as if that ball was suspended above your head by like a string or another strand of light, connecting it to the cosmos, connecting it to your higher self, connecting it to the light of your inner being. And in a moment, that light is going to sort of drop from its position above you right onto the crown of your head. And it's not going to hurt. It's just light. In fact, it will feel almost ecstatic as you find yourself bathed in its luminescence. So that light's going to drop onto your crown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it falls and lands. And almost like an egg breaking, it spills and drips from the crown of your head down, across your forehead, and wherever the light touches, that space becomes light, spacious. And as that white, pure light drips down your forehead, it moves into the cavity of your eyes, bathes the sockets of your eyes with white, cleansing light. And it drips down your cheeks, even slides down the sides of your head into your ears and around your ears. As the white light drips down below your nose and around your mouth, as you breathe in, that light moves into your mouth, into your nostrils, into your sinuses and down your throat. And sort of lands that light that began above your head and now spills down your head and inside of your body, lands inside of your heart. And your heart, being the great energizer that it is, starts to pulsate that light and increase its spanda, its pulsation. And as the light becomes more energized, it starts to radiate outwards towards your shoulders. And like a water slide moves down your arms into your elbows and your wrists, and all the way into the tips of all 10 of your fingers, thumbs, index, middle, ring, pinky fingers. And like a waterfall from your heart, the light slides down the front and back of your torso, down your shoulder blades into your low back, down the basket of your ribs into your abdomen, and it pools in your pelvis, the basin of your pelvis. Pelvis means basin. And as the basin of your pelvis begins to fill with this white light, it starts to spill over and slide down your legs, your thighs, into your knees, down your calves, shins, to your ankles, and all the way into your feet. So all the distal parts of your body, your head, your hands, your feet, have these pools of white light. And that white light starts to extend beyond the boundaries of your body and begins to influence and illuminate the space around you. So your whole body is bathed in this light. And incidentally, this light not just causes a sort of relaxation, but this is also the light of healing. It's the light of clarity. It's the light that entrains coherence through the cells of your body. It's the light that imprints your desire, your intention into the fabric of the universe around you. So let that light do its thing on you and around you. And that light starts to move from your body into the space around you, and as it expands, begins to fill the entire container of the room that you're in. So the space between you and the walls of the room start to be bathed in light. Now, while this room may be filled with light, outside of this room and beyond this room and beyond this city and beyond this country, beyond this planet, is a infinite sea of blackness, of the absence of light. Of space. Of unknown. And so keeping that light contained within and around you, for a few moments, see if you can allow the material around you, buildings, planets, people, cars, trees, to fade away. That you can linger for a few minutes in that void, in that space of infinite, of the infinite. As you travel through space, as you travel through this infinite unknown field of possibility. You are like the flashlight, the light that projects and shines light into this infinite abyss. And wherever it is your light goes and wherever it is your light shines is projected a frequency. And it can be the frequency of your choosing, could be love, could be appreciation, could be curiosity, could be fun, could be play. It could just be peace. So consider the frequency that you emit. Into this infinite shadow of space and possibility. And let that radiate from you as you shine your light onto the darkness. As you project your frequency onto the fabric of space. Begin to take a few deeper breaths in and out through your nose. As you breathe, feel your breath pressing against your belly, your ribs, your upper back, your chest. And perhaps that sensation inspires a little movement. Slide your hands on your thighs. Feel the physical nature of your body. Listen to the sounds around you. Let's shine the light behind our eyes forward. And once again, take in the light of our environment. So open your eyes. Okay. Certainly no shortage of light. Okay. Thanks for journeying with me. Let's stand up and let's do what we do to wake our bodies up. All right. So, do a slightly different process here to awaken not just our tissues and bring some oxygenation to our cells. This process is also really useful for helping to stimulate lymphatic drainage as well in the system. And I call this like a dry shower. So you're going to rub your hands together, get some heat on your hands, and then quite literally how you would like scrub yourself down in the shower. Thanks. We're going to start at the soles of our feet and just like wash yourself. So you can scrub up your legs. Get as much of your body as you can. Those hard to reach places. Go up the right side of your waist, into the right side of your chest. And then with your left hand, you can wash up your right wrist, forearm, upper arm. You're welcome. Glad you liked it. All the way up into your neck. Top of your head. clean, you can get your face. Okay. And then pause for a moment between sides, just feel the difference. Okay. And then we'll do our left side. I was reading a thing this morning that was talking about the love hormone, chemical oxytocin, and how it's released in our body when we experience touch and intimacy, which is, of course, for a lot of us, one of the things that we sort of are lacking as we're in quarantine and isolation. Other things, like petting a cat, playing with a dog, can release oxytocin. But I'm inclined to believe that touching yourself and cultivating perhaps a slightly more sensual relationship with self can also trigger the release of oxytocin. So, what we do first thing in the morning, especially how we relate to our physicalness and how we kind of spend time with ourselves, I think is quite significant. Okay, last thing we'll do here, on your belly you can rub in both directions, clockwise and counterclockwise. And then slide your hands up to your chest. You can kind of rub around your chest. And we're going to paint this line, lateral line, from the inseam of our arms across our chest. So stretch your left arm out to the left with your right hand, slide all the way over, and then slide back across your chest. And then take your left hand and paint over towards your right, and slide back out. One more time. Okay. So if that was all you did every morning, any of these practices done on their own, I think, are a potent way to begin our day. We're just going to keep adding to the recipe here. So we'll start with, we'll continue with some full body joint articulations, and we'll begin that at our wrists. Okay, so make fists with your hands. You're going to turn your knuckles down towards the floor and just move into wrist flexion and extension. If you were revving the engine of a motorcycle. And really see if you can paint your way all the way to, Tyler, morning or afternoon, all the way to your end range, okay, in both directions. Okay. And then you'll supinate, so spin your palms up. And then we'll do what's called a radial and an ulnar deviation. So you're going to move your wrists in towards each other and away from each other like this. Now we'll combine those movements to create a circumduction of the wrist. So you'll go kind of knuckles towards each other, then flex, okay, and then out to the side and extend. And I'm doing this without turning my palms over. If you notice, I'm not doing like this. Okay. You might even bring your elbows together so they don't move. You can go in both directions. We'll move up into your elbows. Let's extend your thumbs. Bring your arms out to the side. I'll show you with one side here. So I'm going to point my thumb forward towards the camera. Point my thumbs forward. And then I'll bend my elbows. My thumbs will go back beside my neck. And out and around. Palms go up. And then palms spin down. And I continue that circle. So here's where we get to turn our forearms. Not so much our wrists. But the elbow joint gets to pronate, supinate, flex, and extend, and then we'll go in the other direction. With your arms out to the side now, stretch your arms back as far as you can, and let's pull this sort of shoulder abduction, scapular retraction into a spinal extension. So tailbone goes back, chest goes up, look up. And then do the opposite. Bring your arms forward. Join your palms together and push your fingertips forward. So I pull my tailbone in, tuck my chin, like a standing cat-cow. Okay, you can bend your elbows, paint across your chest and reach back. And then bend your elbows and dive forward. Let's move up into your head and neck. I'm going to start with a lateral flexion of your head to the right and to the left. Right and left. And sometimes we do these as really like isolated movements where the objective is to keep your whole body as still and rigid as possible, so it's just your neck that's moving. That can be, a really useful practice to kind of create a little bit more intelligent patterns of movement and discernment in your joints through your nervous system. For today, just enjoy some full body movement, right? So you don't have to be too rigid about it. Okay, and then we'll go into flexion extension. So just move your chin to your chest, head back. Doing about 7 to 10 repetitions. Okay, and then we'll go rotation. So with your head neutral, look to the right, look to the left. Almost like you're trying to look behind you a little bit. I'm doing that without turning my spine, so rather without turning my chest and shoulders. And back to neutral, let's combine the movements. So we'll bring your right ear towards your right shoulder, okay? And then we'll rotate, look up towards the ceiling, and then bring your chin towards your left shoulder and look down towards your left foot. Then rotate, look towards the ceiling, and then look down towards your right foot. So let your eyes guide the way. Look up, look over and down, turn. Look up, look over and down. You can start to speed that up a little bit. Your nose paints a figure 8 as you move side to side. If you can, try to go backwards. Can you reverse that? Back to center. Finally, for your neck, we'll move through protraction, retraction, and a lateral glide of our skull. So you'll take your face and you'll press it straight forward. Yeah? Like you were, sitting at your computer and not really being very mindful about what you're doing with your head and neck. And then do the opposite, pull your face back. Like someone's like, hey, sit up straight. And you're like, oh, okay, this is good posture. So head goes forward and then goes back. Ideally, neutral is somewhere between these two positions. This is protraction and retraction. Now, let's protract about halfway forward, and then we'll do a side glide. So I'm not going to lean my head to the right. I'm just going to shift my whole skull to the right, and then to the left, and to the right, and to the left. And this might be one of those endeavors that you try to do, and your body's like, nope, can't do it. There can be any number of reasons for this. Probably just that it's not something that you practice often. So take some time to fire and wire these neural pathways. Okay, and then if possible, we'll come back to center. We'll go in a circle. So head goes forward, and then to the right, and then back to the left, and forward. So it's a little cobra situation here. I find that my body often wants to move in response to that. It's not a terrible thing to do. If you can, somewhat concentrate the movement in your neck. So you're not borrowing too much from your shoulders to make it happen. I've gone in both directions here. Okay, move into your shoulders. I'm going to kneel down to show you these because I got long arms. In fact, I might recommend that you do the same thing. You can come down into a kneeling position. Let's actually take your right leg and step it out to the right. And then bring your right hand to the back of your right knee and press, or rather to the outside of your knee, press your knee and hand together. This is done to kind of keep your spine from turning to the left. So you can feel this contact, right hand, right knee, sort of orients you forward. With your left arm, first of all, straighten through your arm, reach through your fingertips. We're going to take your left arm, it's going to go across your body, okay. And as it goes up, now your left bicep will go right by your left ear. Okay, so just gone through adduction and flexion. At the top of this movement, you'll internally rotate, so spin your palm back, and then continue reaching back behind you. And the further back you go, the more your palm will spin, so it's facing the wall behind you. Okay, and pause. Then we'll reverse that, so you'll reach back, go up, You'll turn. Left arm goes across your body and back to the starting position. Again, take your left arm across. Go up, turn, reach back, and then reverse that, reach back, go up, and across, and down. Okay, and then we'll switch your legs. You can bend your right knee, take your left leg to the side, left hand goes to the back of your left knee. Press to stabilize your pelvis and spine. Reach through your right fingertips and go across your body. Right bicep towards your ear. So your shoulder blade is rotating here. Turn your palm back to follow the movement of your arm. I'm not really trying to pull or kind of lift my shoulder blade up or down. And then we'll reverse that. Palm goes back. Goes up. Across. And down, other direction, once more each direction, across, up, turn, reach back, and then spin your palm back, up, and forward, and down. Okay, bring both of your knees to the floor. And let's actually come onto our hands and knees. We'll warm up our spine today in quadruped. Take a moment and let's just do some work for your wrists. I know we did some kind of mobilization, but it can be kind of nice to weight bear in the wrists. I'm just going to take your hands for a walk. I'll show you forward so you can see. So I'm going to move my hands. Can you see that? I'm just going to turn my hands around in a circle. So my fingertips point back towards my knees. And then I'll reverse that and turn my hands back around in the other direction. And as your hands turn, your shoulders will turn. You might find that your shoulder blades sort of move down away from your ears as your fingers turn back, and that your shoulder blades move up towards your ears as your fingers turn in. Keep your nose sort of pointing towards the floor so it doesn't create too much bunching in your neck, and allow for that movement to occur. And now turn your fingers back forward. We'll do the opposite. So you'll flip over onto the backs of your hands. And then same thing, you're going to walk your hands around in a circle. And if this feels like too much weight in your wrists, just shift some weight back into your hips, into your knees, or rather towards your feet. And that just unloads the wrists a bit. And then come back onto your palms. Create a little grip with your fingertips on the floor just to stabilize yourself. We're going to do some pelvic movements that will move up into our spine. So reach your tailbone straight back, the crown of your head straight forward. And now begin by moving your tailbone underneath you. See if you can round your lower back. And then let that roll move up your spine towards your mid-back. Start to push more through your arms. Lift the middle of your spine straight up, and then tuck your chin. Then we'll reverse that. Lift your head. Roll down your spine, move your shoulder blades towards each other. Drop the middle of your spine. And then finally lift your tailbone up. And then again, tailbone tucks under. Roll up your low back towards your middle back, towards your upper back, towards your head. Tuck your chin, and then reverse. Lift your head. Go middle back, upper back, lower back, tailbone. Now let's try a slightly different organization here. Go from tailbone, tuck under, roll up your spine all the way to your head and neck. You can go a little faster. And keep your chin tucked, keep pushing with your hands. And now, can you lift just your tailbone and ripple from your low back all the way up to your upper back, head, and neck. Okay. And now let's reverse it from the head. Tuck your chin, push through your arms, around your upper back, middle back, lower back,
tuck your tailbone, and then tilt your tailbone, and roll up your spine. They're called spinal segmentations. They can be quite elusive for a while, so just the endeavor in and of itself can be novel enough. Okay, come back to neutral. Tailbone back, crown of your head forward. Let's just do some tail wags here. So you'll take your tailbone and wag it over to the right. As that happens, your left shoulder will move forward a little bit, right shoulder pulls back. You can sort of look over your right shoulder and create a big C curve, like a parentheses with your body to stretch your left ribs. And then wag your tail over to the left. So tailbone left, my left shoulder pulls towards my left hip. I'm shortening my left side, broadening my right side. Again, each side, tailbone to the right, stretch your left side. Tailbone to the left, stretch your right side. Okay, come back to neutral. Here's the fun part. I'm going to put those movements together. So push through your hands, tuck your tailbone, roll up your spine, tuck your chin. Now with your spine flexed like this, tailbone tucked, can you take your tailbone to the right, and then once you're in the right, lift your tailbone up, extend your spine, and then swing your tailbone to the left. So you can do a big barrel roll with your spine. Tailbone tucks under, round your spine, tailbone to the right, lift your tailbone, arch your back, go to the left, and tuck under again. And then you can reverse the direction of this barrel roll, so it sort of comes from the pelvis, but it moves up your arms, up your spine, and so on. And then come back to neutral. Okay, lean forward a little bit, push off your fingertips, and sit back on your heels. We do it on time. Okay. Let's do a little bit of movement for our lower body. We'll do this lying on our side today. So you can lie on your left side, which you can see. Lie on your left side, and bend your knees. And bring your knees in front of you. Right arm can go out in front of you as well. It can be nice to kind of lie on your left arm so your head is in line with your spine. I'm going to prop my head up just so I can see. Okay. So we're going to start by lifting our right knee up. So it's the abduction of your hip. And then you'll internally rotate your right hip so your heel goes back, kick back, lower your right knee down, and then bring your right knee back forward. Okay, then we'll go in the other direction. Kick your right heel back, lift your knee up, then externally rotate, wrap your heel forward. This time pull your right knee towards your right shoulder, and then come back to the starting position. Again, right knee towards right shoulder, then lift up, then wrap in, take your heel back, bring your leg down, back towards the starting position, and reverse, kick back, lift up, wrap, come around, and back to the start. Okay, let's spin around and do the second side. So I have my hips and knees flexed about 90 degrees, left arm out in front of me. I'm going to lift my right leg a little bit, and then pull my right knee towards, left leg, pull my left knee towards my left shoulder and go up. And then internally rotate. This is a nice way to do these hip rotations because that left leg goes back and comes down because the floor kind of keeps your spine still. So you can isolate a bit more movement at your hip. Kick back, go up, wrap, come forward, and down. One more time each direction. Left knee, left shoulder, go up. Turn in, kick back. And down, and then reach back, go up. Wrap, left knee, left shoulder. And bring it down. Okay. Press yourself up to seated. Just a little bit of work for your ankles and knees. Take your right arm under your right knee. And then with your right hand, hold on to your left forearm. Okay. So we're going to point and flex your right foot.
dirty my floors are here, never mind that. Point and flex, and then we'll go up into your knee. So with your foot pointed, now straighten as much as you can through your knee. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. Okay? And then flex and bend. Point, straighten, flex, bend. Point, straighten, flex, and bend. Okay, now let's reverse. Keep the point. Let's bend, flex, kick, point, bend, flex, kick, point. One more time. Good, and then we'll switch. So I'm making just a little brace here that holds my left thigh in place. Left hand holds right forearm, kind of flex and point. And then keep the point, straighten, flex, bend, point, straighten, flex, bend, point, straighten, flex. We'll reverse that, keep the flex, straighten, point, bend, flex, straighten, point, bend, flex. Full disclaimer, I walked outside before I did this, so this is not my dirty floor, it's my dirty patio. I'll fix this in post. Okay, let's switch one more time just to work your ankle. Okay. So this time we're going to point and then take a circle with your ankle in both directions. Do about 3 or 4 revolutions each way, and then reverse. Switch. He does. Go say hi. Reverse. All right, and then once again, take a comfortable seat. Take a full breath in. You can stretch your arms out. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your chest. Take one sound of Om together. Feel the vibration move through all of your cells and tissues. Inhale. Your heart and bow your head. Thank yourself for taking this time. Thank you for joining me. And release your arms, lift your chin, and open your eyes.